Okay. Oh. Let me just make sure we are live. We are live. Should create a party. Okie dokie. So, hold on a minute now. Okie dokie. So, okay, we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome along to round 16 of the SLR 2-1 Championship. We started the stream a little bit early today, just because I was having trouble with starting a stream for the T2 race. So I just wanted to make sure it was all working. This race will be starting in about 2 minutes time. So yeah, I'm waiting patiently. My name is Ben Gallagher, and I will be your commentator for today. There was no commentator for the Tier 2 race, so that couldn't be streamed, unfortunately. But you didn't miss anything substantial. It was a good race. There was a few good battles. Some that I was involved in, some that I wasn't. But yeah, but we're all here for Tier 1 this time around, so let's focus on that. Waiting patiently. Yeah. Who have we today? A few T2 drivers here today, the likes of Mocking Leagues. Let me just scroll down here, hang on a minute. Skin Up. Just them two, I think. Mocking Leagues and Skin Up. Drivers could come up from T2 just to make up some numbers, which is always very kind of them. Yeah. Now might be a good time to run through the standings. Yeah. Just a minute. I'll get the standings up for all of you. I think Thorium still leads the championship, VP Thorium. I'm not 100% sure on that. But I am just going to get the standings up now. Okay. Sorry for the wait, but I just wanted to make sure that there was going to be a stream. Yeah. So, standings. Let's see. Here we go. Should be starting any minute now. It was scheduled to start at 8:15. I think we're gone on to 16 minutes past. We've had better turnouts here as well. Let's see. Okay, have the standings been updated since? That's a shame. The standings aren't up to date, it seems. I can tell you in Singapore, before Singapore, Thorium led the championship. And who won in Singapore? Speedster won in Singapore. I'm not sure where everyone else finished, to be perfectly honest, which is a shame. But we're getting started now. Everyone's readying up, and we're just about ready to go. Sorry for the wait once again, but yeah, had to be done, unfortunately, to avoid any technical difficulties. But we're in now, about to start qualifying here at the Sochi Autodrome. Quite a good track for a street track. It tends to be pretty good for racing. The T2 race was promising in terms of entertainment for all of you at home. But yeah, waiting for everyone to load in so we can get underway finally. Silver Star still loading. Okay, we should be just about ready now. There we go. Okay. Green light for qualifying. Everyone seems to be sitting in the garage at the moment. Yeah. Someone could come out. That would be great. Oh, we got a Mercedes coming out of Technica. Looking like he's going to be the first out. Yeah, now everyone's firing up them engines, those engines. And rolling out of the garage to start qualifying. Technic is the first out on the, give me a second, on the Hypersoft tyre. Hypersoft here would be, hold on a second, until I turn down that volume a small bit. It's kinda a little bit loud for my liking. Turn down to about 6. Alright, okay. Technically on the Hypersoft tyres, I imagine most people are going to be on the Hypersoft tyres for this qualifying session, because unlike Singapore, they're pretty reasonable tyre. They'll go about 10 to 12 laps, maybe more if you're ballsy about it. But yeah, the Ultrasofts are only slightly more durable and only slightly slower. They can go about. I mean, I made a silly move. I took them 21 laps in the tier 2 race. They should only really be brought maybe 16 or 17 laps, 15 maybe. That's that sort of range. So it's whether you qualify on the Hypers or the Ultras, it's a pretty easy one stop around here. the soft tire as the third tire, and that's only really, you'll only really be using that if you smash your front wing on that one. And this useful to go along until the end there, because apparently I've heard the softs can nearly go the race distance around here. So yeah, surface going on for his out lap. He'll be the man to watch. Well, one of the men to watch on their quali laps. Kind of 3 or 4 that are in at the likes of Surface, Speedster, Thorium. Maybe he's got a. Maybe he's not here this week. Excuse me. Never mind. So it's kind of them 3. We might get a surprise. There's always a few there that could surprise us. R2, Silver Star. But like I say, it would be a surprise. So we'll ride him over the surface now for his lap. Braking about at the 100-meter board. So just goes in third gear, clips the curb on the inside, tries not to extend on the left. And trying to stay tight up to the curb here, and set yourself up well for this right-hander that follows very quickly after. Fourth gear, trying not to extend. Braking just as the curb starts. Down to third gear. Down towards, this is faster than you might think at first. Braking at the blackboard in 5th gear, trying not to extend. Track limits are can vary almost, and we've got some very fast laps already of a 1:29.9 for the Speedster. That's a lap and a half. I'm not sure of the tier 2 pole time, but I think that might be nearly a second faster on it. R2 is 7/10ths back. We've got Surface coming into the final sector now. Be interesting to see where he lines up. Got Thorium setting 1:30.1, only 2/10ths slower than Speedster. Will ride on board with Surface as he comes through the final corner now to set his lap. He should be up there, and he is up to P3, 3/10ths behind Thorium, and 6 behind, 5 behind Speedster. Who's had a pretty perfect debut last week in Singapore, winning the race. It's looking pretty perfect at the start of this qualifying session so far as well, but there's still another 12 minutes for everyone behind them to question that dominance. Still 5 more cars to set a lap. We're 6 minutes into qualifying now. They want to get going. Interesting. Evo decided to put in his lap on the soft tyres. Evidently odd, as he's 3.5 seconds down on the whole time. Pirate begins his lap on the hyper soft tyres, as expected. It's only mocking weeks on the ultra softs so far. I don't really see the advantage of qualifying on those tyres. Maybe he just prefers them. Yeah, he's coming to the pits. Yeah, I thought so. He'll probably come out on a set of hypers the next time round. Job thing is, on the hypers 2 laps, so I don't expect much from this lap, but you never know. Yeah, he's extended that, hasn't he? Yeah. It's very easy around here. It's very, very easy. Pirate coming through sector 2, and right on board and into the final sector. Probably won't be braking just before the 100 down here, getting as close as he can without cutting, taking a good bit of curb there on the left. He didn't take quite a lot there, Pirate, but he might have. I think he held enough speed. It's all about a lot of it around here is how much you dare with the track limits. How big a risk are you willing to take that you might cut it? Because the curbs, there's no harm in running over them, apart from the fact that it's easy to extend. because they're quite flat, the curbs around here, a lot of them. There's a few in Sector 3 that are a bit dodgy, but most of them are reasonable. And here at Turn 1, they're the only substantial curbs, really. 6 viewers now, piling up the audience. There's 4 cars yet to settle up still. Just short of 10 minutes left in qualifying. Technica's on an outlap. Thorium's on an outlap. Surface is waiting. And Speeds is also on a lap. So we're going to be getting a few good laps in the next sort of 2-3 minutes or so. We're going to start getting some changes in that board there up on the left side of your screen. Is there 2 coming to the end of what I hope is an outlap, because yeah, listen, it was a 2:10. There's a lot of traffic going on here through Sector 1 and 2 and coming into the start of Sector 2. A lot of traffic. Cars trying to find some space. As you can see now, yeah, everyone seems to have jumped onto the hypers. Because if you can do a one-stop anyways, there's no point going on the ultras, really. If you're going to do a one-stop no matter what. Yellow flag in Sector 2 and 3. We're right on board with Pirates, see what the story is down there. He goes a bit deep there into turn. I'm not going to count the corners, I'm not sure which one that is, to be honest. He also locks up an inside left going into the next one, and he as a result, he compromises his entry to that one and he pits. So he's kind of, yeah, he's accepted that lap's a bit compromised. Locking Week's coming around to start another lap on new Hypersofts. Gets a good exit out onto the straight. We're right on board with them. Actually, excuse me, we'll have a look and see. Thorium could be on a reasonable lap here. Mr. VP Thorium, I'm not sure. I haven't seen the split times because I only joined him in Sector 3. He runs a little bit wide there. He could have invalidated that. We'll soon find out. He's got two tenths to gain. If he wants to get that, take that pole position off Speedster, does he get it? He does! Thorium goes 2.8 tenths out in pole position. That's a 29.6. That's a cracker of a lap. That is. These guys are very fast. Very, very fast. Yeah. We'll go back to Mockingwinks to see how his lap went. Coming into Sector 3 now. It's a heavy braking zone this. You want to brake just before the 100 and get tight to the corner. He locks up an inside right, and that'll... It's one of them sections of racetrack that if you miss an apex on one corner, it tends to compromise your line for the next few. But he's held it together reasonably well, but he's not happy with it. And he comes into the pits. Evo has done quite well on the set of Ultrasofts, actually, to get up to P6 on the grid. He's pitting now, but... Oh, he goes a bit deep there into the pit lane. Jesus, that could have gone badly. Silverstar and Shumi F2002 are still to set a lap. Silverstar should really be aiming for top 5 based on previous performances. He's on a lap now. We'll see where he ends up in about 40 seconds. Shumi is also on a lap. On Hypersofts, as you would imagine. Quite a gap here from 4th to 5th. Seems to be almost 2 groups developing in the pack. Silver Star goes up to P4, and that pushes R2 down to 5th. He'll need another 2/10 to get that position back. But yeah, Silver Star will be happy with that lap. As I expected, he was right up there in the top 5. Who else is doing something interesting? Quieting down a small bit now. There seems to be a lot of people on outlaps, getting ready to set their final lap. 4 minutes left in the session. It will be their final lap most likely. Surface is coming into the pits. If he's quick in the garage, he could get another lap in, which is a chance he will likely jump on, because every inch tends to count around here. That's a Ferrari coming out there of Evo. And the Mercedes of Technica coming out to set their final laps. They've plenty of time to get around. It's kind of at the 2-minute mark. If you start to drive out at the 2-minute mark, 1.5 minute mark, you're going to be cutting out a bit close as to whether you actually get a lap in or not. As Evo runs a small bit wide into turn 1. But it is only an out lap. Shumi yet to set a lap. Can't say he hasn't really had time for it. He's had a good 15 minutes, but he just hasn't been able to string it together. Having one of them's days is Shumi, but any other action out on track? A lot of outlaps. A whole lot of outlaps right now. Is that Mocking Week setting a lap? It's a 5-minute long lap, I hope not. If my telling me the truth. Who's this on a lap? Chopper thingy. Looks to be a reasonable one. Breaking very, very late into that corner. Meant to be quite well. He gets that back end a bit wobbly into that corner. It's tricky, that one. It rises and rises on the entry and drops on the exit. It's quite tricky to hold the back end together. You got to go in slower than you think you would. But Shop thingy comes around to set his lap. Now he jumps up to 6th. Still 6/10 ish to R2. You've kind of got the top 5 and then the rest right now, really. And Rear Wheel Man. Yeah. Who else is on the lap? Any of them big 3 on the lap? Thorium is attempting an improvement on his 29.6. If he improves on that, I'll be very impressed. He takes a lot of speed through there. Wow. These guys are crazy. Triple thing is 4 seconds down. Technica's gone a bit wide. Evo's given up. Or retired, but nah. Whatever you wanna label you wanna put on it. Skin Up is around trying to improve his lap. He's 1,000th up. Is that 1,000th? 10th? 100,000? Yeah, 1,000th up. Pirate is also trying to improve, coming towards the end of his lap now. He'll be trying to break into 6th, 7th, 8th. So, that'll be his target, but you know, it's no, doesn't improve. Thorium has retired. There's a sideways Mercedes there of Technica. What are you up to, Technica? I think he must have lost it on the exit to this 3rd to last corner. Any of the top 3 on a lap. Surface is on a lap, as is Speedster, so this could get very spicy towards the end now for the battle for pole position. Surface has got the bigger gap to close though. These guys are not short on pace though, so it will be interesting to see whether they can beat it. Silver Star seems to have given up. R2 is going on a lap as well because it says, oh no, R2's retired. Chopper Thingy's in the pits. Mocking Week's on a lap. Pirate on another lap. Rear wheel man on another lap on 2-lap old ultras, so yeah, maybe not. Shumi is about to set his one and only lap. It's not going to be a great one though, unfortunately, for Shumi. I think he's as well have... oh, maybe. No, yeah, he might as well have not set a lap at all. Poor Shumi. But Mr. LR Speeds, he runs a little bit wide there. He might even validate it. I'm not sure. It's going to be close here. It's 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. He gets pole position. Right at the death. Will Surface be able to beat it? I'm not sure if Surface has already come across the line or not. But LR Speeds to steals pole position right at the last second. Whew, that was intense. That was intense, that. What a lap. That was... I'm not sure exactly what that was. A 29.4. Surface wasn't able to improve, unfortunately. Well, was he? He was. He improved a small bit. He improved by about half a tenth, but not enough. So LR Speedster takes pole position for this, and on course to take a second down in as many races. But we've still got 27 laps around this Sochi Autodrome to decide whether that happens or not yet. Should be an easy one stop on the Hypersoft tires. Oh, it's raining! Oh, I wasn't told about this. Where? Who? Oh, I didn't expect that. Oh, well, this makes it very exciting then. It's a good day to be a commentator when it's raining. It's a bad day to be a driver, however. Let me check the comments. Wet first half of the race, says Mocking Wings. So they're probably going to stretch their first set of what I imagine will be full wets. Yeah, it's going to try and stretch their first set of full wets until it gets dry, and then they're gonna... what are they going to do then? Then they're going to put on to, depending on when the rain stops, onto a set of hypers or ultras. Benjamin Carlin. Yes, this race is always on at this time. Starting, this is tier 1, so that this will start every Sunday night at 8:15 UK time. Tier 2 starts a bit earlier at 6:30. 30 minutes past 6. So yeah, 8 viewers now. About to watch what I imagine will be quite an exciting race here. In Sochi, you've got Speedster on pole position alongside VP Thorium. Surface and Silverstar in behind. On the 3rd row, we've got R2 and Chupathingy. 4th row in 7th, we've got Technica. Alongside him is Evo. Oh, and we've got Mocking Wigs, who's lost it already. I'll see him on the grid in a minute. Him and Skin Up are on the 5th row, and Pirate and Rearwheel Man on the 6th row in 11th and 12th, and Shumi F2002. Well, quite disappointing qualifying. He took a long time to set a lap, and then didn't set a particularly astonishing lap when he did. But he starts from the back of the grid in 13th. Rolling through the final sector now, ready to take their grid positions for the start of this race. 27 laps around here. I've been told it is forecast to dry up mid-race, which could spice things up quite a bit. Yeah, we'll see how it goes here at the start. You won't win a race into turn 1, but it could improve your chances. They're all lined up on the grid now. Shumi has come to a halt. I've no lights, but they're away. I can't see who got a good start or not. Thorium has got a great start. He's into the lead already. Surface has had a terrible start. From pole position, he's down to second already, and he's under threat again. Going 3 wide further back. 4 wide, 3 wide. Silver Star up the inside of Surface. And Speedster. Speedster runs wide, as does Surface. Technica, Evo. There's a Red Bull sideways there. That's R2 from 5th on the grid. That's a big shame for him. There's going to be... Evo's got a great start from 8th on the grid. Technica as well. Thorium though has taken the lead down at the start of the race. Speedster just didn't have nearly as good of a launch. Surface has had quite a bad start also, lost the position to Silver Star, who's not doing great further back. Mockingbird seems to have been alright. Shumi has gained 4 places somehow. R2's retired from the session, that's a shame, he had quite a good qualifying session. Pirate has also had a good start. Sharp Thingy's held position, I think. But apart from unlucky R2, it's been quite a clean start so far. VP Thorium has taken the lead. Silver Star runs a small bit wide. Formation that really isn't enough to get used to these conditions. They're kind of getting used to the conditions while racing for position, as Silver Star is struggling and under braking here. Struggling with his braking points and running wide for a lot of these corners. Evo gets up to 5th past Technica. There's a bit of a battle here going into the final sector. If he's got any sense, he'll hold back until the straight. Double lock up into that final corner. Pirate is up past Thingy, who pits. He has damage, I imagine. Pirate up to 7th place from 10th on the grid. Or 12th, I'm not 100% sure, excuse me. Technica might be used too far back, he won't. He's going to be keeping an eye on Evo for this next lap, as he runs wide actually into that particular corner. Thorium is outside of DRS range. Silver Star's ran wide. Oh, he's sideways and he's off the track. Oh, don't hit the wall. Yeah, Silver Star has been struggling in these conditions so far this race. I think everyone's been quite cautious at the moment, just trying not to ruin the race, which is a very easy thing to do in these conditions. But Silver Star is skating around there. I think he's using his dry braking points, I'd imagine, because he just seems to be going wide all over the place in that first lap, but he's starting to acclimatise to the conditions now and get up to speed. There's 3 seconds between the top 4 at the moment. Speedster has closed about half a second in to Thorium this lap, but we've got no DRS in the rain, so he'll just have to sit back and wait for a mistake, or if he stays this far away from him until the back straight at the start of the lap, he might get slipstream might be enough to get him into turn 1, but we'll see. Thorium, there's a bit of a wobble into this final sector here. Back end gets a bit wobbly on the way out as well. Surface won't get any action this lap, as he is 2 seconds back. Thorium runs wide again. Speed's still be rubbing his hands together, but he's got to be careful, he can't get too eager. Speed's sets fastest lap of the race, and he's got a bit of wheel spin on the exit, but he's in overtake mode and he could have a chance here in the slipstream. No DRS in the rain. He might go for it here under the brake, under braking. No, massive lock up for Speedster, but you can sense the caution that they're taking. Technica's out. Technica's binned it. That's unfortunate. And Shumi, he must have had an incident with Shumi. He's pitting as well. Shumi's retired as well. That must have been a bit of an incident there. Rural Man has had a great start from second last on the grid, 12th. Evo has gone up another place as a result of the Technica incident. Who will be very happy right now. Silver Star, he's closing in on Silver Star. Thorium and Speedster still going nose and tail. And Mockingbird still got a 5 second stop and go and has retired. We're down to 9 in the first 3 laps. Shuffle Thingy gets sideways through turn 3. So hope these 9 finish. hope they just think about the points, because I wouldn't like to be commentating on a race where we're down to 6 or 7 drivers, because that's not enough cars for excitement. Sector 1, we've got a yellow flag. Who might that be? No one's in Sector 1 at the moment. These two are getting very close to each other, but it's just very treacherous conditions right now. Another lock up for Speedster. He'll have to get it together here on the exit. Turns in quite early. He gets a lot of wheel spin again, does Speedster. And he won't get in this lap. He's struggling with the exit of that final corner there. He needs a good exit if he's going to catch Thorium down the straight, but an alright exit is better than wheel spin, I believe, as he runs wide into turn 1. I wasn't looking there, I'm not sure what happened. Let's come through the final sector. Speedster's a bit further right than he would like to be to that particular corner. Silver Star's dropped back a small bit. He's maintaining the gap to Evo behind him. He'll be very happy with the start. Quite a disappointing few races for Evo this season. He'll be looking to make this one of the good ones. He runs a small bit, misses the apex a small bit. Pyre also will be happy. He's gained maybe 5 or 6 places. Skin up from coming up from T2. He's currently stands in P7. Ooh, that's a little bit sideways there. So this is not as exciting as I would have hoped it would be. Thorium and Speedster are still staying very close to each other. This Thorium is gets the first time penalty, 3-second time penalty of the race. Speedster has dropped back a bit in that final sector. He's dropped back nearly a second in that final sector. So we won't get him here. Speedster seems to be turning in very early for that last corner and compromising his exit, and therefore is struggling to get by Thorium. And as a result, he just seems to have made a small mistake and lost quite a bit of time as a result of that small mistake. God, I'd hate to be driving in these conditions. This is not the track you'd like it to rain on. Oh, Speedster's wrestling that car around the long turn 3. Surface is closing in a small bit as a result of the small mistake made. So, Silver Star's round! Silver Star's round at turn 1, and that'll promote Evo, will it? It will. It'll promote Evo up. There's a bit of debris I can see back there. That's turn 4 that he's done that. And he's got front wing damage. That could be the end of this race for Silver Star. Skin Up and Pyre are having a bit of a battle here. The two Toro Rossos. We'll see what comes of that. But poor Silver Star has made quite a crucial mistake here. In a period of the race where you really need to be staying out until it dries. And you'll have to pit. But Skin Up is getting very close there. He was less than 2/10 behind his teammate for this race, Pirate. Surface has dropped back a small bit from Speedster. Thorium sets the fast 149.2. Surface is closed in about 6/10 in that final sector on Speedster, 7/10. Silver Star into the pits. He will get jumped by the two Toro Rossos and maybe even Rear Wheel Man. The two Toro Rossos here might have a bit of a squabble down towards turn 1 as they inherit P5 and 6. I think Skin Up is a bit too far back, even in overtake mode, but he might force an error if he stays in the mirrors of Pirate, who brakes quite a bit earlier than him. Into turn 2. I feel I called that corner turn 1 where it's not. Unfortunately, I'm sorry if that annoyed anyone. A speedster runs a small bit wide. That'll make surface behind him smile. Coming out onto the straight here. He's 5/10 back now. He could have a chance here. Could surface. Silver Star picks up a 3-second time penalty for cutting the track, I think. Silver Star dropped right back to last. You can jump by Rural Man and Triple Thingy, but we're looking at this battle here between Surface and Speedster. He's not going to have a look into here wisely. He locks it out inside left. Or outside left rather. And just tries to stay under his rear wing near through this final sector. So we'll have a chance out onto the straight. Speed still loses the back end a small bit and therefore misses the apex to the next corner, but Surface is not going to make a move here. Speed still lets him by. That's a bit odd there, I'm not sure why that is. He's just pulled to the side and let him by. That's odd. Maybe a damage or something, maybe it's because they're part of the same sort of esports team. SLR. I'm not sure. That's a bit odd. But I mean, fair enough if he thought he was gonna have an incident, but he doesn't seem to have damage. He seems to be all right. Right. Torium has pulled out quite a gap, almost 5 seconds at this point. Ahead of second place. Sutor Rossos are still very close together. Still, 2 laps later. Kinda just waiting for the rain to stop at the moment. Silver Star is caught right up to Triple Thingy here, trying to make up the places after the mistake he made a few laps ago. Triple Thingy goes to the outside, inside for the left kink, and outside for the immediately following right. Silver Star up the inside. Takes 8th place. Away from Triple Thingy, and he'll be after Rear Wheel Man now. Well, Silver Star, who has got the pace to catch him. But then as for everyone else ahead of him, who was another 14 seconds up the road, Skin Up might have made a mistake. He's dropped right back from the teammate from whose front wing he was under a minute ago. Or rear wing he was under a minute ago. Silver Star's closing 7/10 in the last sector alone on Rear Wheel Man, who is closed in on Skin Up as well, so I believe Skin Up's made a mistake at some point. I don't think he has damage, but he's at a bit of a wobble, I imagine, through one of the corners. In these conditions, I wouldn't be surprised. Now the front wing looks intact. As Evo is up to... Didn't even notice Evo, he's up to 4th. He's kind of just been staying out of trouble this race, and reaping the rewards of that achievement. Speed, I thought he was in 2nd. Yes, because he let Surface by. I got a bit confused there for a minute. There's a few quite large gaps developing, which are very hard, Oh, jeez, Speed's just clipped the rear wheel! Coming into the pits! And that's going to cost him a bit of time. He just got too close to the wall on the inside, and he clipped his right rear off the wall, it seems. So he'll get ahead Evo will get ahead of him up to P3. Evo, he'll be very happy with that. He's, like I say, he hasn't had the most outstanding of seasons. The Speedster, interestingly, has gone on to intermediates. Who else is this coming into the pits? This is the Pirate. So the rain is lightening, it seems, but not stopping yet. And yeah, Pirate also goes on to ultras, inters even. So it appears the rain is dying down a small bit, but it's not completely going to the point where inters are possibly the faster tyre. Speedster did need to do something though, because he was losing ground on surface ahead of him. Speedster quite disappointed so far, qualifying on pole. But yeah. The Pirate pitted. Chipper thingy is kind of held on to the tail of Silver Star coming through these past few laps. Silver Star on much newer wets, but it won't make a whole lot of a difference. This Chipper thingy is sliding all over the place. Surface pits. So it seems... Oh, Speedster's got a 5-second stop and go for exceeding track limits. That's a bit unlucky. There's been quite a substantial turn and cut. Who is this going on? He goes on to inters as well. So it doesn't look like this rain is stopping yet. This is going to carry on for quite a bit. It's just gone down. The rain is lightening. It is not. Speedster picks up another penalty. How many penalties has he got now? Speedster's got 2 penalties so far. That 5-second stop and go and a 3-second time penalty just there. So that could cost him in the end. The gaps are quite large at the moment, but whether they will be at the end or not, I'm not sure. Evil was promoted up to... As Chipper Thingy also gets a 5-second stop and go for corner cutting. The Pirate. Silver Star pits, Chipper Thingy pits. So it seems, yeah, that it's light rain at the moment, it seems. As everyone seems to be jumping onto the intermediate tyre. Yeah. So Evo up to 2nd place from... Whereas he was in 8th. He started 8th and he's up to 2nd. Granted, a lot of people that are behind him, 5 of them to be exact, have pitted. We'll pay attention to the gap over the next few laps between him and Surface to see if he is losing time. If he is losing ground, then the only sensible move for him is to pit, and the same goes for Thorium, who thinks about pitting, but doesn't. Let's see if Evo pits this lap. It's looking like he is. Yeah, okay, Evo into the pits. Surface was closing in on him quite substantially, closing nearly 2 seconds in that sector alone. Evo somehow has corner cut on the pit entry. And he's got a 3-second penalty for that. So Thorium stays out. Speedster, that's a 46.4. The fastest lap before that was a 49. It was a 49.6. So the track is getting quicker. The track is drying up a small bit, but it's not completely dry yet at all. In fact, it's still raining. I'm not sure how long a pit stop is now. That would be very good information right now. But Surface has 21 seconds up the road, a Pink Force India of VP Thorium that he would very much like to catch. Silver Star gets a 5-second stop and go for track limits. There seems to be a lot of them being dished out now. Not sure why that is. So everyone seems to have pitted now for inters apart from Skin Up and Thorium, which can only tell me, yeah, that Thorium is losing time. So if Thorium doesn't pit this lap, he's on under a quite disadvantage. He's losing time in every sector. He's losing a second every sector. He's got a rev glitch, so I'm gonna try and stay away from him. This could affect the race here. This decision for Surface to pit earlier than Thorium onto the intermediate tyre. Speedster gets another 5 second stop and go. This could cost him in the end. His letting Surface go by that time would have cost him already, because he was dropping back from him as is. He's going to drop even further back now because he's got a 3 second time penalty. He was 2 stop and goes. As Thorium stays out. He lost 2 seconds that lap to speeds to Surface, and he stays out. So unless it's going to dry up, if it doesn't dry up in the next few laps, then looks like he might lose a win here. That's the only sense I can see in this decision, staying out this long on these wets. He's the only car to have done this as Skinup's pitting now. Jeez, he's 16 seconds back. He was 21 seconds ahead last lap. So he's losing time fast. The only sense I could see in this decision is that he's waiting for the sun to come out. And if he does that, then and makes no mistakes, he's won the race. But if it stays in these conditions, if it stays light rain, it's too late for Thorium, and it's looking like Surface is going to take the win if it goes that way. So it looks to be, providing there's no major incidents between Surface and Thorium for this race. Unfortunately, Speedster he's just a bit far back. He's 3.5 seconds back, whereas he probably could still be ahead of Surface if he hadn't let him by, because he's keeping up reasonably well. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1. Don't know who that is. That is Rear Wheel Man going around, I think that's turn 3, the long left sweeping turn 3. At Surface sets another fastest lap of the race. He's another second faster than his previous best at a 1:35.7. So the track is getting quicker. That's only 6 seconds down on the pole time. 6.5 seconds down the pole time. He's down to 12.9 seconds to Thorium. So if it rains now, this will be a strategic masterclass from Thorium. If it doesn't, he's gonna look a bit silly. So we'll see how it turns out. Anyone in chat who can tell me if it's gonna dry up or not, that would be very nice to know. Chris. If you don't practice in the wet, you're gonna be bad in the wet. I can say that for myself as well. Because I don't like to practice in the wet, because no one likes driving in the wet. Unless you're fast. And if you're fast, you do a lot. But Thorium is less than 10 seconds ahead of Surface now, after 2 or 3 laps ago being 21 seconds ahead. He's just... I mean, what lap is he setting here? He's going to set a 1 minute 51.9. Let's see what Surface sets. He's a 10th up on his best. So Surface was 5 seconds faster that lap alone. 5 seconds. Speedster sets a new personal best. Speedster's on the charge as well. He's closing a second since I last checked on him and Surface, so he might not be quite out of this yet. Like I said, he would be, but yeah, this could be a very exciting battle for the top, for the win here. Because Surface is getting quite close now. Even if it does dry up, he's scarily close. That's what Thorium would be thinking. He's a bit close, even if it does dry up. Thorium now will almost... Let me check actually. To leader. Thorium will almost be thrown at Evo if it doesn't dry up, because he needs to jump on cementers if it stays wet. 3 seconds now, surface is back. So if surface could nearly get by thorium before it dries up, and if then this little plan of his has gone out the window altogether, because he would have needed to stay ahead until it got dry. He's right there, he's 2 seconds back. He's less than 2 seconds back now, I'd say, coming out of this. He's a second and a half back. As thorium pits, it seems that his plan has failed. Oh, he bins it into the pits as well. No. Oh no, thorium, no. It's all gone wrong for VP Thorium today. He could have had a win. He had a great start, a great launch, but he's been overtaken by the two SLR boys here. The plan has not worked. It has not dried up, and he's taken a while to exit the pits. Anyways, he's been held in the pits for some reason. He's not out of the pits. I think his day has just gotten a small bit worse. I think VP Thorium has been held in the pits for no apparent reason. Oh, Codemasters. Oh dear, Codemasters. I feel bad. I feel bad for Mr. VP Thorium, because he deserved a podium despite his little plan failing. Oh, that is a shame. He'll wait for a few minutes and I imagine he will leave soon. Yeah, he's retired from the session. That is... Codemasters. Codemasters, come on. He just hasn't been let out. That's terrible. That is terrible, that is. But anyways, moving on from that laughable glitch, Evo was on for his first podium of the season. I'll have to check the standings again at the end of the race to make sure of that, but I'm not sure. I think it might be his first podium of the season, which he will be very happy with. Thorium won't be, but he will. As Speed says, saying fastest lap after fastest lap here. He's less than 2 seconds to the surface at this point. That might be the red glitch, I'm not sure. But this could be a very exciting end to this race. He's still got 11 laps left. There's plenty of time for him to catch him if he takes care of his tyres. I'm not sure if these inters can go to the end either. I'm not sure. Yeah, interesting to see how it goes. You can see him, like he's in his mirrors, which presence alone can be quite pressurizing. But it seems to be one of the SLR boys is going to win this race, because the next car back is 23 seconds back from these two. It's just smooth sailing for Evo at this point. Gap to the leader, and another 23 seconds back from him is Pirate, who will also be very happy with P4. Skin up from coming up from D2, won't be happy with 5th, but he'll be chasing down his teammate for all he's worth in these next 11 laps. But I can't see a whole lot else changing. I can't see the two Toro Rossos catching each other. Evo's in a world of his own right now. He's a country mile away from any other cars on track. It's kind of between these two for the win. Speedster's ever so slightly reeling him in. He was 3.5 seconds back, maybe back on lap 10 or 11, 12. And he's down to 1.5 now. But whether he can keep closing in. very unlucky for Thorium to be robbed of a podium of some good points because of a silly glitch in a game. I believe that happened in ILR as well to 2-1 in Spa to one of their drivers over there. It's a silly glitch. It's one of the core parts in the game, the pit stops, and there's people getting held in the pits for no apparent reason and then having to retire from the session to get out. It's quite silly, really. Especially for such a tight championship battle here. He's fighting for a championship. He's Thorium, and to be robbed of easy 15 points is a real shame. It could be the difference, who knows. Like I said earlier on, every inch does count. Every inch counts into a foot. But we'll see what happens later towards the business end of the season. Speeds has dropped back a small bit. He's conceded a second to, just short of a second to surface that lap. He's on a lap older intermediates. Yeah. Kinda cruising around now, so is everyone, apart from Speedster. And Surface, who will be going at it for that win. At this rate, I can't see anyone catching anyone. Which is a sad realization for a commentator. But a realization nonetheless. Gotten over a minute between the top 4. So I don't know, not over a minute. Probably just about a minute. Just short of a minute. It's a bit of a slide there for surfaces there. Bit of a lock up. Right, let's, I don't know. There's not a whole lot to talk about right now. I'm sorry for everyone watching. It's turned into quite a boring watch, this, unfortunately. Yeah. I don't think he's gonna catch. I don't think Speedster is gonna catch Surface, to be honest, because they just seem perfectly matched on pace. We have a lap car coming now, so That could spark some action. Who knows? I imagine Rear Wheel Man will step out of the way quite easily, but at the same time, it's kind of mean, but hoping he doesn't, so we can have a bit of action. Because I'm almost falling asleep here. To be perfectly honest, yeah, and he gives him the whole track. God damn it, Rear Wheel. Oh my, he's. Let me see. Shame that standings haven't been updated, because I could have a look at them and see if Thorium loses his lead in the championship, because I'm not sure. Let me have a look actually to see how Singapore ended last week, and I could add it up myself. Let's have a look. So last week in Singapore, Speedster won, Thorium was second, Surface was third. Yes. Okay, it's dried up. It has dried up. So we could have a race on here. Speed says less than a second behind Surface as they go into the pits. I imagine they'll be putting on hyper soft tires. Speed says stop and goes to serve. Oh no! Surface puts on the ultra soft tires, but interestingly, they've kind of held the gap. So everyone's pitting now. Everyone's pitting in for hypersoft tires, apart from Surface, who probably should have gone on to hypersofts, but I don't think it would really cost them in the end. So the track is dried up, and we're all kind of jumping on to dry tires. That's about it. Rear Wheel Man's, I hope he's serving a stop and go, and this isn't the second driver to get stuck in as many. Oh dear, please no, not another one. This hasn't happened twice in a one race, Cody's. We have another car. We have another one. That's the second car this race that has been held in the pits. I'm sorry now, but we got we gotta show Codemasters the stream, because that is unacceptable. He's just been held. He's just like, you can't have that in a game. You can't have that. It's a crucial part of the game that needs to be right, and it's not. The pit stops. You're just driving in circles all day without the pit stops. It's a crucial part, and they've made a balls of it. He's gonna be stubborn, is Rear Wheel Man. He's gonna sit there and he's gonna wait to see if it ever lets him out, but I don't think it ever will. That is terrible. That is. The stream is going straight to Codemasters after this race. Jesus. That is truly terrible, that is. Pit crew are just sort of stood there looking around. We have Speedster 1.4 seconds back from Surface, who is on slightly harder tyres than he probably should be right now, which could be the reason that Speedster is slightly closing in. He's lost a bit of time in that corner there, but he's holding a gap, if anything. And if not, he seems to be gaining time. Evo's 25 seconds back, Pirate another 31, so nothing else seems to be happening, and Rear Wheel Man is still stuck in the pits. That just angers me that that's happened. Second driver in one race. It's bad enough it happening to that lad in SLR, Limitless, that time that I saw. And there could be other cases that I haven't seen. But for that to happen twice in one race is simply unacceptable. It's simple as that. But away from all that, we've got Silver Star right on the back of Skin Up. coming into the final few laps of the race. We've got 6 laps left, including this one. Silver Star picks up a 3-second time. That was very harsh. You saw it yourself there, he barely ran over it, but he is after Skinner. And on the pace, Silver Star should get him. He should get him. You know, slightly older tyres though. One lap, but slightly older tyres. Then the Toro Rosso ahead of him. You really should get him. Skin Up is no slouch, but I don't know if he's quite up to the challenge of keeping Silver Star back. Rear Wheel Man has left. Retired, finally. He tried to persist, but it just wasn't happening for him, unfortunately. Penalties at the front of the pack could decide a few things. So, Surface has not a penalty. He has 1 warning to his name around Sochi. That is good. That is very good to only have 1 warning. And as for Speed, stay is 1, 2, 3, and a stop and go. So I think, yeah, he won't lose the place to Evo, but he's not going to catch Surface either. And even if he does, he's going to lose the position to him on penalties, because Surface has done very well not to get any. He still has another warning to lose as well with 4 laps left. He could bottle it, but I can't see him doing that. Surface has gotten within DRS range. He's just jumped out of DRS range, but he's very close to DRS range as Surface sets off 35. Quite a variety of laps this race, from 150s, 155s, down all the way down to 135s. The timing boards will be quite interesting. Silver Star here is chasing down Skin Up still. He's within DRS range, coming out into a DRS zone, funnily enough. I'd be kicking it up to overtake mode right now, Silver Star. He mightn't get him on this lap, and certainly with DRS and overtake he will close in the gap even further. He is 6/10 back now, coming into the final sector. If he stays under his rear wing here, coming through this twisty section, he could get him down towards turn 2, down the back straight. Saving ERS through here, it's a good idea to turn down ERS as often as you can through that section, because power is not nearly as important as lateral grip through that section. He closes in, the back end has stepped out there, to say the least, for Silver Star. I thought he was in the wall. He sets the fastest lap of the race of 1:35.0, but he's not paying attention to that right now. He's closing in on Skin Up, who goes to the inside. Silver Star pulls to the outside. He's going to have a look around the outside here. Skin Up pushes him wide, and he's going to have the inside here for the long sweeping turn 3. Skin Up squeezes, and he has the space to come in further if he wants to, but he stays on the inside, giving him space. He cuts the corner, does Skin Up, gets a penalty for it, and Silver Star doesn't get by. I want to say it's good defending from Skin Up, but I'm not sure if it was a totally legal, as he did kind of push him off the track. But he's held the gap of less than 0.3 of a second, has Silver Star through this middle sector, and he's going to have a look here down the straight. Surely he's going to kick it up into overtake mode. He's going to have DRS. Skin Up goes to the inside for the left kink. It'll be the outside for the right-hander. Silver Star pulls to the outside here. He should get the position. He does. He's ahead before the apex, and he gets the position. Silver Star should hold that position now. He's done quite well. He would have to recover from his little crash earlier in the race. He would have preferred it not to have made that mistake, but wouldn't we all? I can't see him catching the Pirate. He has the pace. He doesn't have the time though. As Speedster is still less than 2 seconds behind Surface, coming into the final sector here for the 25th time. These two just seem to be at a stalemate. Surface sets a 33.5, that's 1.5 seconds faster. This track is getting faster by the lap. The Speedster is closing in a little bit. He just needs to get into DRS range. If he can get into DRS range, we have a race on here. But there's not a lot of time. There's 2 laps. He's got 2 laps to do that. And I don't know if that's enough time. I just don't know. Silver Star is pulling away from Skin Up, as expected. Skin Up is on newer tyres, but he has come up from T3. He'll be happy with P6, but considering there's only 7 drivers left, I don't know how happy he'll be about that. But yeah, Speedster is 1.1 seconds back. I don't think there's enough time. I don't think there's enough time, to be perfectly honest. It will be close. If there's any sort of slip from Surface, it will be close. If there's any sort of slip from Speedster, then I will be disappointed because it will rob me of a race. Yeah, I think, yeah. Just a small bit sloppy there from Speedster in those few corners there. As we go on to the final lap now, Surface is another 5/10 faster than he was last lap. Speedster's probably something similar, but he's not quite as fast. He's just not. Surface is coming up behind his teammate now, Chopper Thingy, to lap him. You might lap him before the end of the race, you might not. Yeah, Speedster's he is 2 seconds, I think, behind. So I think Surface has got this in the bag now, especially with the penalties. Speedster will be quite substantially behind Surface by the end of this race, who has, Thingy has had a bit of an accident. He won't lose the position because he's 20 seconds behind 6th place anyways, but that was a bit scary, Jesus. Triple Thingy getting a bit excited, a bit overexcited, but Surface here is coming through the final sector now. He hasn't really put a foot wrong this race. Qualifying, he will be a small bit disappointed not to have gotten pole position. Speedster will be disappointed not to have converted pole position. But in the end, it's the race where it counts. And Surface here comes around the final corner here in Russia to take the win at the Sochi Autodrome, followed by his fellow LR driver Speedster, and who is in the end 22 seconds behind with all the penalties added up. So he had 20 seconds of penalties there. Surface did not have any. So yeah, and that's your race. Chopatini finishes in 7th. Very spread out the pack by the end of the race, as Evo comes in weaving and very happy to have secured a podium finish this season. I think one of the main things to look at over this race is, of course, well done to the drivers that did finish. But I think this needs to be a bit of a line that's been crossed here, because 2 drivers had to retire because of a glitch this race. 2 drivers, and it was the same glitch, and that just seems a bit awful, to be honest. That just, it's unfair. It's unfair. But well done to Surface. The only one who really didn't make a mistake this race. Speedster's only mistake was the poor start and letting Surface by that time. I'm not sure what was going through his head that time. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, to be honest. But yeah, it's quite a good race in the end. Just to confirm the final classifications: Surface P1 speeds to his right on the podium, and Evo to his left. Surface did very well not to get any penalties that race. Qualified third and did well to pull out the win in the end. Pirate gets P4 from 11th. But once again, quite a shame to have lost two drivers to the same glitch. Yeah, I think that does need to be clipped and sent straight to Codemasters, because that was very bad. That was very bad. Once every now and again is bad, but twice in the same league race, that's a line being crossed. But we'll see what develops in that field. But I have been Ben Gallagher, and this has been SLR. This has been round 16 in the SLR T1 League, and be sure to tune in next week for more races next week. Let me have a look. Japan at Suzuka, which should be a good race. So yeah, thanks for watching and goodbye.